Hey everyone, Scott here from Cathedral Minis. I just finished printing these two ruined statues from the ruins of Ulfheim from Terrain for Print off of My Mini Factory. I'm going to be going through how I get them tabletop ready and use them for our display pieces and other terrain pieces in our upcoming Mordheim battles. So I'm continuing on with painting up these ruined statues that I printed out from Terrain for Print from the Ulfheim Ruins Megaset series. So I have primed them that flat gray after adding the rocks on to simulate rubble, and now it's just time for some dry brushing. So I dabbed up a little bit of the granite gray. It's what I pretty much use on all of my stonework because it makes it really pop out. And now it's just a matter of dabbing everything on and going through and dry brushing it all. Using this old cheap kids paintbrush. I found them from Walmart, Dollar Tree, pretty much anywhere. And like I said in the video for the fountain, actually using an old makeup brush or a large makeup brush from Dollar Tree works wonderful. They have about the same size bristles, and you can put some paint on there and actually get a pretty good effect on it. So I'd recommend looking at those as well, because it's cheap, it's easy, and it does the job. And especially if, by dry brushing, it can pound the bristles, the bristles pretty hard. So with this, after a while, and you don't want the brush anymore, you don't have a lot of money invested in it, so you can toss it without having too much of a loss in your investment. So yeah, I'm just going around, keep working the brush into all of the nooks and crannies. Looks like I'm running a little low on some paint. Oh, then we just keep working it around. And if you see here, like I have a little bit too much paint in some areas, you can actually go through and dry brush a darker gray on top of that to try and hide some of the whoopses that you've done. Or if it's too bad, like I said before in the fountain tutorial, spray paint it again. Base coat it again with the spray paint. Start over. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. So this has been pretty well covered. I'll get started on the other one. So we'll just sit there and work it around. It's a fairly quick process. Sit here, dig this in. A couple of deeper recesses here. You know what? And after that is done, I might go through and use a little bit of a darker gray if you can have one handy. I said I really don't have one right now. In fact, I have to run to Walmart and pick up a few more bottles of the Apple Barrel paints. But for now, this will work. And if you want, you can also use some of your inks, like a really watered down black ink or a brown ink, and that will go through and fill into some of the other recesses and cracks. So that's pretty well taken care of. So now I'm going to take care of the base. I will apply some glue and just start tucking that around. So the bases that I've used here are the pieces of flooring tile, and I'll do a little video later on showing you guys a quick and easy way on how to snap the stuff and cut it into the shapes and sizes that you want. It is, I would say, just as effective as using a wood base, but the nice thing is it you don't have to worry about a scroller saw or anything else to cut it. You can use a razor blade and just snap it into the smaller sections that you need, and it's got the weight that you can use for a good counterbalance, because it's a heavier, depending on the thickness of the tiling, of course, but there's enough weight to it where it holds a lot of minis in place, because I've actually used it on some of my larger behemoth scale models, or in fact I've used it on a, what do they call that, Malerfine that I 3D printed, and it's heavy enough where it keeps it in place and I don't have to worry about it getting tipped over. So there, I've got all of the glue applied. Lay this stuff out. And then what I do is take some good old sand, and just start throwing it on there. I mean, I've used some of the sand that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I mean, you get about a 1 pound bag of sand there for $1.25, and it's actually finer than some of the, well, regular sand that you find on the playground or on the riverbank. But one thing that is nice about natural sand is the colors are already there. So you don't have to worry about changing from a green or a black or anything else. It's just, if you want brown, well, you've got brown. So with all that done and taken care of, oh, I missed a spot. I'm going to put a little more glue on that. And at the same time, if you find any pieces of rock, like I found this piece of rock right here is starting to come loose, while you're applying the sand, and you have some glue still handy, throw another layer in there and try and anchor it back down. So, and now with these taken care of, I'll get the sand out of the way. I'll just pour it back into my bag. And now for most statues, you might start seeing a little bit of lichen or vines or some sort starting to grow. If you've got small plants, like some of the smaller plastic plants and vines, feel free to do whatever you want to do to add in the moss or lichen. A moss would actually be quite nice if you tuck smaller chunks here and there throughout the bottom. But something I've found also works quite well is just your regular flock. So I will take this and I will put it into a few nooks and crannies to make it simulate like you've got plant life starting to grow in different areas. So this place here where the hands and the sword come together would be a perfect spot to put a bigger vine of some sort. So you kind of have to look at some of the items that you see in nature. Take a look and see, oh, this is an old ruined area. I'm betting there's going to be some plants growing here and there. In fact, I might put a little bit of a plant life or something on top of here as well as on top of the shoulders. So I'll get that going. A couple more chunks of here and there. You don't have to have a lot, but just a little bit to help break up the ruins. You know what I mean? So it gives it a little color and makes it pop a little bit. So for here, I've just taken my regular flock and I'm just going to start dashing it around, tap it off. Probably a little bit more on the back side too to help break it. So a little bit of dab here. Knock any leftovers out, and that will be this one. And now to do the same thing on the taller one. And for grins and giggles, I'm going to start putting some down here by the base of the rocks, where everything is kind of pooling up, so to speak. Get that finished off. So now, as you can see, they're pretty much done. I might go back through and add a few more a little bit larger plants on some of the larger surface areas to show that everything is starting to grow back. So then this shattered one is starting to grow back as well. I should probably do the same grass outcroppings as the full one on this smaller one. So I'll get everything dabbed in there. And there, a quick coating of clear coat will help protect and lock all of the grass and sand on. And then you are ready for some terrain pieces to be put on the table and use. Both of the statues are now complete. I added the zombie for scale, and as I explained before, the green really makes the statues come alive and have the weathered look, and as plants are starting to grow back into the cracks and crevices of the rock. I opted to not have these vines growing up along the sides of the statues due to running out of the material. If you have any other questions or requests, please let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them and do whatever I can to help out. Thanks.